Hello everyone, I'm Patrick Thibiant and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about speakers and subwoofers. I'm excited because speakers and subwoofers are very exciting. First, let's talk about the speaker. I'm going to tell you why I picked the speaker and how I got to pick the speaker. I was looking for a full range reference level speaker and start to read about all the available ones. And I stumbled on this company, Focal. It's a French company. Now, I'm French originally. I'm definitely American today, but I was French at one time. So that kind of promoted me to look a little bit further. But when I looked into the company, I found out that they make their own speakers. They actually create their own technologies for their own speakers. And they also sell their speakers for other speaker manufacturers as a contract manufacturer. So that told me that this was a specialist company. And all they do is speakers, by the way. I stay with companies that do the one product fanatically. And that's been true of every other component so far. And then it's very much true here. So when I discovered that this company had all the elements of what I was looking for, the full range, new technology. By the way, new technology here means the use of beryllium metal for the tweeter. The tweeter is what gives you the high frequency in a speaker, and it could either irritate your skin, your skin, the skin of your ears, or charm it like magic. So. And also, there's an element of accuracy to the source, don't forget. So accuracy and also non-irritating. So the use of beryllium, apparently in many studies, this was a very technical company, so they had a lot of material to read up on. It had been a first when I looked at these. They were the first ones to commercially be able to use the metal beryllium. It was an ideal metal for the speaker because of its properties, lightweight and stiffness. So with that, I jumped in and I was thrilled when I heard it. It was a phenomenal pair of speakers. These are the Nova Utopia, and that's one step down from Utopia, which is a bigger speaker even. It has another bass woofer up here. But that's for large hall rooms, and I don't live in that kind of home, so this was enough for me, more than enough for me. The full range speaker means you don't theoretically need anything else to supplement the high or the lows that are delivered, and it covers the full spectrum. However, a speaker has a lot of work to do. It has the higher frequencies to deliver, the mid frequencies, and the low frequencies. Remember those three categories. They each require different things to come out really well. And that's really why it's so hard to have a singular speaker that does it all well. Because each of the high, mid, and low has different elements for its success. It's been 25 years now. I was one of the first buyers of this speaker. And I've wanted to change it just because. It's been long enough kind of thing. And frankly, every time I read and was ready to do some move, I didn't do the move because I was too content. I really didn't. But a few things happened though to make that. I discovered other improvement mechanisms in a system that gave me a lot of new pleasure. And I'll discuss that in another episode. These are the non-electronics that contribute substantially to a great sound in an audiophile system. That's another episode we'll cover soon. But let's stay with speakers for now. So speakers has to do high, mid, and low. The high and mid is really most of its duty because low frequencies are great, but you can also add a subwoofer to supplement the low frequency capability of the speaker. So the subwoofer is this little unit, not so small. These are actually giant for a subwoofer. They are the JL Gothams, which means it's the top of the line JL subwoofer company. Again, they specialize in subwoofers only. In fact, they were the first guys that did car subwoofers. That's how they started their career years ago, making the original car-shaking subwoofers. And then eventually got into the high-end. The problem with high-end and subwoofers is that subwoofers have their own sonic interference with the system when you plug them in. It's not that they're working all the time, just connecting them to a system kind of begins to bleed the original sound. So it's been controversial how beneficial they are if you have a truly reference level full range speaker, right? Why do we call this full range if you need to supplement it? But again, it's full range in the context of a speaker unit. But when you isolate it the low and deliver it accurately without interfering with the sound, then you have real magic. The reason I went to this company, first of all, it was again a specialist company in subwoofers. They don't have regular speakers. All they make is subwoofers. This is built like a boat. You cannot lift it. In fact, it's fiberglass, and they do send it, apparently, I discovered that. The cabinet is made by boat people. It's reinforced fiberglass, very heavy and dense, just like the hulls of a ship. Anyway, so, but the use of a subwoofer and hi-fi, like I said, has always been a mixed bag until this came out. And furthermore, the reason this works so well, it's because it comes with its own crossover, this unit here. This unit here is a crossover, which means the speakers are connected to this, and so are the subwoofers. This is basically the command center for the frequencies. Whenever you set it to a certain frequency where you want the subwoofer to kick in, and that's a sonic exercise. You just sit and you listen. If it's too much, you roll back. If it's not enough, you add. What you want is to almost not hear it, but hear the enhancement that a subwoofer does. Because remember, it only kicks in way low. So it's not even active most of the time. But when it's active, it needs to be in and out without any overhang, without any bloat, which typically is very easy to do on a bass note. So you can appreciate the difficulty in delivering reference level at high level sound that is bass. Very difficult. These guys solved the problem, and they also have a control unit that literally commands the subwoofers when they need to be working. All this to say that they're controlled by some very dedicated and focused and engineered devices to maximize the impact and minimize the negatives of a subwoofer. So with this, when you sit, say, you will hear this blow your mind in an orchestra setting, when especially the difference between a solo violin and when the whole orchestra kicks in with the timpanis in the back, you can actually start to figure out where the players are sitting in the orchestra when you're listening. It is that good. In rock, of course, bass. Who's not going to love bass? And of course, in today's music, bass is critical. So learning how to manage the negatives of bass bloat has been a big advance. And when you integrate it this well, it's phenomenal, the result. Before, I actually didn't have subwoofers. I was very content with the lows I was getting. There was never an issue. And in fact, I stayed away from them because I wasn't convinced they were in the picture in the first place, a contender in the first place, until this came. And again, same thing, I read about it. I may go to an event where it's being demonstrated. It's very difficult to find any of this in a store. The stores are mostly gone, and if they do, those that do exist may have one or two or three, but not in an entire setup. It's just too much to handle. So you're still guessing, but you need to do your research, see what your ambitions are, where your direction is, and what your ears are telling you. Because when you sit and you have a an option to do A/B comparisons, that will talk to you. There's nothing that replaces that, period. So that's basically it for the speaker and subwoofer. This is Patrick Thibiant signing off, and I'll see you at the next episode.